finished school, I was umming and ahhing what to do, and I sort of always loved food and wine, and I thought, let's go and do like a food science course. But to enter that, the starting course is very similar to the wine course as well, so I just entered through the wine course. But unfortunately, the food course was discontinued, and I started my first year in the wine course, and I met some really wonderful people, and I really, really enjoyed it. So I decided to continue doing that. And then eventually I went, okay, I have no experience. I should go and get some experience in a winery and meet some people and learn some things. And my husband and I, we moved to Western Australia, to Margaret River. And I worked in a winery over there, got some on the ground experience and did some tastings and met some really wonderful people. So I just continued with the winemaking, and yeah, I've had a lot of support over the time. So I've been very lucky to get to where I am now. I've been fortunate enough to have some mentors and some very wonderful people to lean on or ask advice or those sorts of things. I haven't had it difficult, say, like in the past, how some people may have had it when they first entered the wine industry, but I've been very fortunate enough to have a lot of support where I've worked and where I am now as well. I think I just love being able to create something that you can sit down at the table with the family and enjoy together. Just brings the agriculture of the region with a bit of art and science and put it all together and share it with your loved ones and your friends, I think. That's what I enjoy most. I think at one point when I was over in Western Australia, I did a year or so in the cellar and the lab, did some tastings with winemakers and travelled around and had a look at a few other wineries. I went, yeah, this is really interesting. It keeps me motivated, and yeah, something I could really want to do in the future. So I think when I was in Western Australia, it sort of just all clicked for me. I think there's been like a lot of changes, like sustainability for sure. Like a lot of wineries are trying to be more efficient. They're trying to, save on energy, power, be a bit greener, that kind of thing. So that's definitely changed. There's a lot more women in the industry now, and I think there's a lot more diversity of cultures, and just there's a better spread, I think, of everything amongst the industry and the peers. So it's very good. 2025 was fast and furious. It was very hectic. It was a very big vintage for us, but we were very happy in the end with the quality. So it was a big vintage. Tested everyone, I think, for sure. So taking from that, probably trusting your gut is something I took out of that. You can follow numbers and specs as much as you want, but at the end of the day, you got to make those gut decisions, and yeah, definitely will take that from it. Patience, definitely. Not pulling the trigger too quickly sometimes, or picking decisions, and definitely having a bit of gut intuition, and might have a spec to hit, but if it doesn't look right, you kind of got to make a call and make those decisions. So yeah, it can be interesting some days. I start out in the vineyard, and I inspect a lot of the blocks in the vineyards with our growers, and I sort of touch base a lot with them, and we sample, we test and have a look. And then I make sort of scheduling and picking decisions based off that. And then I see from grape to bottle, which is really exciting. I like that. And then in the winery, we bring the grapes in, we make the wine, and then seeing it go into bottle at the end it's very satisfying to then just open that and share it with someone at home or family or friends. Philosophy, like at the end of the day, a wine just needs to be enjoyable, and people need to enjoy what they're drinking. I don't like to, give someone something that they might not like or whatever. So I just tend to, fruit forward, something interesting, maybe a little bit of complexity, but at the end of the day, something that's drinkable and enjoyable. Probably seeing and growing some of the alternate varietals in our range. So we get some alternate varietals like Fiano and Sangiovese, which I look after in our winery, and just to see them from the vineyard into the winery, finished wine, and then into bottle, like something that I've wanted to do from the start and been able to do it the whole way through. And the like the variety Sangiovese that we make has grown as well. So that's very exciting, and a lot more people are enjoying it and educating themselves on these varieties that they don't know much about. So I like seeing that. I work for a company with Italian heritage. So there's a lot of, Italian heritage throughout the company, and the people that started this business have set a legacy for us to follow, but there is definitely room for experimentation and quirkiness and, thinking outside the box and things like that. So we get to play around with some different varieties, different blending, new products, there's always something new happening. It's not just all tradition. I think there's a good mix in our business. Well, a lot of wineries recycle the grape marc, and it sends to Tarak or distilleries, and it gets turned into ethanol, which a lot of places will like for spirit, so that'll get reused in fortified wines. Sustainability, we've recently at the winery just put in over 1,000 kilowatt solar panels, so that's pretty good for us as well. Hoping to get net zero, but in time. We were in the Riverina, and the Riverina is quite a warm climate area. It's the food bowl of this state, so we grow everything here. Water is quite a big issue, so warmer climate, we tend to need a little bit more water, but there are introductions of like weather resistant and weather tolerant varietals. So some of the Mediterranean varietals, so you'll see like Fiano and Nera d'Avola and Sangiovese, they all come from outside of Australia, but they're a bit more like heat tolerant, and they're a little bit more like disease resistant as well. So those sorts of things are definitely have been coming into the industry for quite a while, but I think they'll continue as well. There'll still be a place for Chardonnay and Shiraz, the usual suspects, but yeah, that's something I think will add to what the future will have. I grew up in Junee, which is 2 hours from Griffith, but still classified as Riverina. It's very warm. Both areas are very similar in terms of agriculture, temperature, those sorts of things. I think, I have family in this area as well, so I have a bit of a connection there, which is quite nice. So I'm really having a fondness towards Sangiovese. My co-workers are probably sick of me talking about it, but I do get really, like with the alternate varietals, but I get really excited when it comes in. I think it ticks all the boxes for something that's delicious and drinkable, and something that's relatively, I say new, but it's definitely something that the consumers and wine people can all enjoy together, and that's something that I look after at our works. So Riverina is very warm, like it can be a very warm climate here. The soil is sort of, it's very different everywhere you go. You can have sort of sandy loam, there's clay, there's, red earthy dirt, there's black dirt. Like it's very different everywhere you go here, and different patches of like a variety will look very differently no matter where you plant it. So I think, temperature is something that plays a huge thing in this area. It's temperature. Probably the climate is something that really brings out like warmer varietals, I think, in this area. Like, I think, having someone that you can reach out to when you need something, or a bit of support, or even just a coffee if you just want to go and catch up. I think it's very important to have that sort of local communal collaboration. Like it's very important to have those pillars of stability when you need someone or you need something, or you just want to chat because you're sick of hearing about more grapes are coming in. I think, the Riverina is probably noted for mass production a lot, but we make some wonderful premium wines here. And I think people from outside the region don't see the wholesome and the wonderful things that we do. And it would be nice if the image of this region could be seen as, they make some wonderful local Durif, or the Botrytis, or even like Burton's make the Fiano, like Vermentino. They make some really excellent wines, not just bulk produced. So that would be nice if the region could be seen for what it really is. It'd be good. It's very important, with people and families and commitments it can get quite difficult. So, you know, just supporting one another is probably the main thing, I would think. And I hope that maybe I can help support some others. It's a wonderful space now, and there's so much support with everyone. And you get to embrace that creative, artistic, science side of yourself. If those are the things that you like, do it, because I'm so glad I did.